serious circumstances, and the statutory scheme calls for more intensive technical assistance by the SCDE as that severity increases. As part of that increasing amount of technical assistance and comes along with each escalating level of fiscal concern, the statute, South Carolina Code Section 59-20-90E7, it's a long one, the district has not made reasonable recovery plans or taken action to correct the practices or conditions that led to the declaration, the superintendent may make a recommendation to the State Board of Education that the department take over financial operations of the district for the fiscal year in which a fiscal emergency is declared as part of the technical assistance offered to the district. Upon approval of the recommendation by the State Board of Education, operations until the district is released from a fiscal emergency. So that statutory language is incredibly important and explains why we are here before the board today. By way of background, the Marlboro County School District was placed on fiscal watch on February 28, 2022 due to repeat material audit findings from the fiscal year 21 audit, identified significant deficiencies and material weaknesses. On February 2, 2023, that fiscal watch was continued with fiscal year 22 audit findings, which indicated ongoing significant deficiencies and material weaknesses. On February 29, 2024, that fiscal watch was continued for a third year based on the continued significant deficiencies and material weaknesses that were identified in the fiscal year. Status was escalated to fiscal emergency on February 18, 2025, based on the fiscal watch status for 3 fiscal years. In the fiscal years, that's one of the clear triggering circumstances for that fiscal emergency declaration. Additionally, the district failed to submit their fiscal year 24 audit December line. The fiscal emergency statute provides for an right for the district to appeal that fiscal emergency declaration, and an appeal was not pursued by the district. While unrelated to the fiscal declaration and financial takeover, the SCDE's Office of School Transformation has been support to the district. That support relates to the fact that 75% of schools in the district were underperforming based on 2023-2024 academic data. The district is now in its first underperforming district. The SCD will continue providing academic support as the 24-25 academic data is finalized. Fiscal circumstances in the district and incredible information conveyed from district leadership as part of our technical assistance and support to the district now also necessitated Superintendent Weaver requesting that Inspector General Brian Lampkin investigate all financial and procurement matters within the district. Leading up to today's meeting, the SCDE contacted the State Inspector General's office and has confirmed that the State Inspector General does not have any opposition to the SCDE's request. The superintendent's recommendation is based on the Office of Finance's technical assistance and thorough review of the district's current financial condition. Kendra Hunt, the SCDE CFO, is present and will address the specifics of the fiscal circumstances within the district. I'm happy to address any legal questions you may have before, during, or after Ms. Hunt's presentation.
Do you have any questions of Mr. Gunter at this time?
I do. So, Henry, could you go back and clarify, first of 3 years of underperforming, was that, have we finished the first year or are we entering the first year?
And I have Abby Duggins here, and I can answer that question, but I think Abby's going to do a whole lot better job giving you a little bit of an academic picture. If I can invite Dr. Duggins to give you a little bit of a State of the Union when it comes to that academic support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Gunter.
you.
Oh, thank you. And thank you. Yes, they just completed their first year, and as test scores roll in, we will continue to evaluate. We will determine this fall if they will remain in that underperforming status. That would be year 2. And so we will be able to provide that additional information on the district status regarding underperforming schools as those test scores roll in and are analyzed.
Further questions? Yes, sir. Make sure your mic is on.
I guess the regulation stipulates the process you have to go through. It seems like if a school is not performing financially and we're giving them advice and they don't improve, it takes 3 years to do something about it. And how many years it take a poor academic performance for us to do something?
And so I'll let Dr. We're going to tag podium. We're all friends. So the financial component, you have very specific triggering circumstances that could trigger a fiscal emergency. So it doesn't necessarily have to be years of identified in the audit. That was just here. There are other circumstances. Emergency purposes for the board today, it is that financial takeover where the only predicate for the financial takeover is that the district is a fiscal emergency and that those significant deficiencies in material level of technical assistance.
Did they have a reason for that?
You want to go?
So it's my, good morning.
Yes.
It is my understanding that they had some new financial staff within the last year and a half, and so closeout took a little bit longer last year. Their financial statement and audit was submitted this current year by April. So it is in place. It was, a well-done financial statement. And so I think it was just another case of staffing turnover.
I have a question, and whomever of the three of you, thank all three of you for being here today. They passed a budget. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Where does that budget stand? For instance, if teachers were given a raise in the budget, will that go forward? Anything that they have voted on as a board, does that go forward coming year, or are we
On the school consolidation portion of the budget, but teacher increases have been approved.
only part of the budget that is not going forward is that, right?
Correct.
Okay,
That's my
fine.
understanding.
Any other questions of any of the three?
Madam Chairman,
Yes,
I do have
ma'am.
a question.
Yes, sir.
With us taking over, what does that look like for us? What are we going to provide? What will come out of this? Obviously, we're not going to give them money, and that's something they're, I'm pretty sure, needing. What's our plan of action to help them?
So our plan of action, experts as well as operations experts, their staffing levels, their operations, their facility appropriately to be able to find to partner up with the district to make sure we're being as fiscally responsible as.
Madam Chair, they start school in just 2 weeks.
They do. They do.
Are we going to be able to give in 2 weeks? And
Duggins to come speak to that, but I believe we do have a team in place already that is moving forward.
We have been providing technical assistance, and part of the year one of academic assistance has included a district transformation coach that has been working with the district. The district has also participated in a leadership academy, the State Department of Education. And so we do, as Ms. Hunt mentioned, we have a team of experts that are going to be boots on the ground to provide that technical assistance. We have had a team there this week helping with the opening of school and the plans around that.
Madam Chair, I have a question. Collier,
Yes.
can you, any of the three of you, clarify why the consolidation plan has been halted? Is that connected to the fiscal problem, or is that connected to other issues, or all of the above?
Focused on the fiscal portion of it, and the concern we have are the immediate cost reduction and the lack thereof, perhaps. And in addition to that, there might be additional costs associated, and I don't know that it was fully fleshed out to really know what the school consolidation in a short amount of time is going to cost the district and what those cost savings were going to be. So it would be a better, our approach would be to take a long-term look, a really deep dive into how we could see some cost savings for the district.
So can I follow up with that? Sure. The consolidation plan, was that originated at the district?
Yes, ma'am.
And so, as a part of the State Department takeover, will that plan be reviewed, or will that just be tabled for now?
I believe our team is going to review that plan, and it's going to take a team of financial and operations experts to take a look at that and assist.
Thank you.
And I'd like to go ahead and address several of the things that have been asked. So our team, as previously stated, has been on the ground. We do plan for school to open as previously announced on Monday, July the 28th. Our operations folks who have been on the ground have assured us that there is a plan in place for that to be able to happen. We have tabled the consolidation recommendation. It is simply untenable to consolidate schools in the short window of time that they were seeking to do it. That's not fair to the communities, to the teachers, and to the students of those schools. And in addition to what Ms. Hunt indicated, that we are not entirely clear on how the projected cost savings of those consolidations were calculated. We want to go in and do a very thorough review, a comprehensive long-term plan for what those types of decisions may need to look like in the district going forward. But our assurance to the students and teachers of Marlboro and the parents of Marlboro is that the schools are going to reopen in the same configuration that they were last school year to ensure continuity and stability going forward. Mr. Harrington, to your question, I think the predicate maybe is, what can we do to better get ahead of these problems in the future, as opposed to waiting for them to be in such a dire case? And that is something that I know is very much on the mind of the General Assembly. They directed us over the last year to convene a study committee, which was led by Ms. Hunt and Dr. Gunlickson, our Chief of Staff here. We brought in CFOs from around school districts across the state. We brought in outside financial experts as well as legislators to look at different ideas of safeguards that we can put in place going forward to ensure the department to provide more robust technical support on the front end, so that we don't get into these kinds of crisis situations in the future.
One of the things the paper stated was that there was a significant increase in non-teaching staff and administration at the school last year. So, I mean, do we have, and yet we say we're going to follow the budget. So if their issue is they're overstaffing themselves and they don't need all those people, do we have the right to suggest or demand that they appear at salary level?
So one of the things that we are going to be doing in providing technical support, and for folks in the media who may be watching this, I'd encourage them to look at the letter that was sent from Ms. Hunt on July the 8th to the district, in which it outlines about 6 different potential cost-saving measures that we will be evaluating, and that includes looking at staffing levels, and I want to emphasize especially staffing levels at the district level. We have to ensure that we have classrooms and classroom aides in our classrooms, and that is obviously our number one concern, is making sure we're taking care of those teachers who are on the front lines, taking care of our students. So we will be certainly evaluating that. The other piece that I'd like to emphasize to the board here today is that while we will be putting together comprehensive suggestions, We will require the local board to pass that because they still are the fiduciary, the folks responsible for the district ultimately. And so we are going to bring them suggestions that they will then need to pass as a revised budget for the 25-26 school year.
So what's the next step if they don't respond favorably?
Well, I don't want to speculate on what potential next steps are, but the law does anticipate that there are additional steps that can be taken up to the removal of the local school board if necessary.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I think Superintendent Weaver just answered this question for me, but I'm referring to that letter too. You give a great list of support systems for Marlboro County, and I was reading it that you, of course, the state part can offer this guidance, but it sounded like you just said that's what you will be offering.
Yes, sir, and that actually, so when we sent this letter, we were not in a posture of running the finances of the if the state board today moves and votes to allow us to do so, those suggestions would no longer be simple suggestions.
No longer an option.
Correct.
Thank you.
I have one. As far as the students, the teachers, over here, as far as the students and the teachers in Marlboro County, they're not going to see anything different, really. This is something being done on our level financially, but I mean, school's going to continue. Everything, it's just going to be like a normal thing to them, I would assume. Is that correct?
That is certainly going to be our goal. I have laid out to our team two target priorities in these first few weeks. The first is to get schools opened and to create as much of a sense of normalcy around the beginning of the school year for our students and our teachers in Marlboro as we can. And then the second will be to work to expeditiously close the hole in the budget.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Other questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
Cliff Warren. Over the last 4 years, and you may be able to answer, may not, but have we given recommendations that they didn't go through with to get them back on the right track?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
No.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Hey,
Doctor.
yes, I am looking at their last 4 audit findings of 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. And in each case there were material weaknesses identified. And the question asked, Marlboro County School District qualified as a low-risk auditee. In each of the 4 years of the audit findings, it's listed as no, and that's one of the things you desire. There is an list of issues in each of the 4 years. Now, to their credit, they were able to address some, not all, of the repeat findings. Repeat finding would be that you were told to fix it, and it comes up. But in some cases they did. They resolved them. But the unfortunate thing was, it was like whack-a-mole, where that issue would be fixed.
Observations are part of the need to identify new and better ways to support districts, especially districts that are small and oftentimes shrinking, as Marlboro is in this case in terms of losing student population. We know that they have real challenges sometimes identifying talent that is able to provide the kind of consistency and continuity that you need to run financial operations of this size. And I know that's something that Ms. Hunt has certainly identified, was that staff turnover, I think, played a large role in the ongoing challenges that have brought us here today.
I have a question.
Yes.
Chair. And when you go in, I know, I listened to several of their board meetings. They had already decided that they were doing some things like, some contracts such as their grass cutting and custodians. But they did not, that we could hear on the board meeting, come with suggestions or show us how that was, who was going to do that and what was the cost savings going to be. I'm assuming y'all will go in right from the start and look at those pieces because those are very important pieces in operating a school district.
Absolutely. No, that would absolutely be part of our first steps is reviewing contracts, what has been cut, what has been changed with our facilities, our operations team, as well as our finance staff. Absolutely.
And I believe that I am correct, that the process that we have in place via the General Assembly and through the superintendent and all of you, we will be able to take a look into the finances, but also into the areas of whether it be board, whether it be personnel or whatever, that have been able to not move forward in the past, to look at all the elements that make up a school district, whether it be leadership or whatever, that will lead them to success that they are not experiencing at this time.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the state superintendent's recommendation that the South Carolina Department of Education take over financial operations of the Marlboro County School District?
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Education approve the state superintendent's recommendation that the South Carolina Department of Education take over financial operations of the Marlboro County School District.
Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
Would you say your name, please?
Richardson.
Okay, I know you too. Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the like sign. Motion carries. This concludes the State Board of Education's business for today. Thank all three of you for your presentation today, and certainly Superintendent, we thank you for what you're doing for our districts across the state. Do I have a motion at this time to adjourn?
Kreminger, so move.
Is there a second? All those in favor, signify. Any opposed likewise. Let me, as chair, thank all of you who gave up your morning to come and join us on this board. Thank you for the work that you do, Superintendent. Thank you for the work that you're doing, and all of you that have come from the State Department. We appreciate everything that you do for our districts, mostly for our students and our families across the state. So thank you here today and all that said on this. And at this time, we stand adjourned.